So this is the Quick Start User Guide for Contact Center Pro. We're going to presume that the system has already been set up and configured for you, and therefore we're not going to look at how you configure everything. Some of that is done at PeopleMap's end and some of that is done by you at the client end. However, we're specifically going to look at how you use the system once it has been configured. So this is the Quick Start Guide. There will be other videos that look at the detailed configuration. So this is the sort of dashboard, the sort of place you'll probably start. And the first place we want to go, I'm just going to run through the navigation at the top here, but the first place to go is the questionnaire. So when you get to the questionnaire, this is where you send job candidates. So you can put this link, you can link to this from a job advert, you can send people here by email, but that's where everybody begins. Of course, this is unique to you. Now, a couple of things here that we'll mention. This URL can be customized, so you can edit this here so that it says whatever it is you want it to say, so it's something a little friendlier. You can upload your logo to the questionnaire landing page so that it's clearly you that they're applying to. All the text and the words can be customized by so the landing page design content can all be changed. The language can be selected. You've got several languages that you can choose from. And of course, the thank you message at the very end of the candidate registration process, you can edit as well. So you can give them links to go somewhere else. You can tell them how long it's going to take for them to. So all that can be fully customized. Let's have a quick look at what the questionnaire actually looks like. So in this example here, you can see there's a logo at the top. This could be your logo here, and you would write, perhaps what is the job that you're offering, some descriptions, and some instructions as to what they're going to be doing, and how long it will take. So there's a good example here. And the first thing then that people do is they start to answer the personality questionnaire, and then they're presented with the more standard general questions that could be the job application if you've chosen to do that. So here's an example of, now this at its simplest would just be their name, first name, last name and email, and their gender. Or you can ask as many questions as you like, including yes, no type questions of the candidate. So you can really create a full job application form using this facility, and then once the candidate gets to the bottom, they simply press submit, and once they press submit, they're then taken to the thank you page, which again can contain your custom message. Okay, so now that's us got our candidates sorted, the candidate experience is complete. Now it's simply a case of looking at the results. So we click on view results, and you'll see you have three choices. These are different services within this suite. All three may not be activated in your account, but there's a good chance that they are. For most contact centers, this is the suite would contain all three of these. So the first one we want to look at, you do approach these in orders. The first one would be Shortlist Pro. So this allows you to look at all your applicants that have come in and then start to shortlist that. So you might have 100 or 200 or 300 applicants coming in, and you quickly want to get to your 10 best options as quickly as possible, and this is what this is designed to do. So what you'll see up here is these are personality issues. So we're actually measuring each applicant on these 4 different personality aspects of them. So and from here we can then put in some minimum scores. So you've probably and should have created a success profile, so you'll know the scores that you're really looking for, and you'll know the answers that you're really looking for here, and you can enter those in, and the system will then cut down your big long list. In this case, we start with 108, and it will reduce it down to something. So let's say we're looking for people here that score higher than 75. So we'll just run a search on that. And we've already halved the list. So we've gone from 108 down to 47. So that's not a bad start. And let's say that we want only people who have some experience. So let's just run that again. And now we're down to 35. And let's say we also only want people with a driving license. Down to 27. So you get the idea. And if I wanted to, let's say, oh no, actually, let's take that up. Or let's also look at people who score 75 for endless patience and see how that reduces it. Yeah, well, that's taking us further down to 23. Let's say, okay, well, maybe this patience is really important to whatever this job is. So let's take that up a little higher. Now we're down to 21. So that's the way you process it, and quite quickly you take a big long list and convert it down to a short list. Now what you will notice here is that there are no names or email addresses displayed, and that's because in this particular example the blind recruitment feature has been activated. Now this is a feature to help protect you against any types of prejudice during your recruitment process. So what it does, it only gives you the raw data about the candidate, and it doesn't tell you their name or their gender or their email address, so you've no way of knowing who those candidates are. So the only thing you've got to base your information on is their answers. So it's a fantastic way. It's called blind recruitment, and you probably have some equalities legislation in your country, so it helps you operate to the very highest standards of equality and prevents prejudice slipping in, even unwittingly at this stage. Now it can be switched off, it's an optional feature, but in this example here it's been activated. Now what you can also see is the candidate report. So if you click on the candidate report, you'll see a summary of this data just presented in a different way, so you can see all the answers to their questions here, and you actually get to see the gauges for each of these personality topics, which again just helps you. So you can see here that's somebody scoring a 90 on endless patience, so that's an extremely high score. Clearly determination to close a sale is not big in this individual's network. And at the bottom here you can also see the distance they live from work. So if you activate this feature, the distance travelled, then you can see if they've got a long commute or a short commute. And the reason we include that, and at the end of all this you can actually create a print in a PDF, but the reason we include this is because if someone is having a long commute to work in a contact centre, it's an incentive for them to look for work nearer home, even if they quite like the work. There's always, if there was something similar nearer home, then the chances are they would go looking for that and take it. So it's a factor, one of the many factors when it comes to recruitment, as to whether they're going to quit or not. And if we're looking at maintaining staff turnover, then we want to address as many of these issues as possible and have a very low staff turnover, and that's one of the factors. So that's Shortlist Pro, and as I say, you can play with that and use this filter until you get to a place where you're very happy with your shortlist. So let's say we end up with we say, okay, I like this candidate and this candidate and this candidate, and I want to interview them. We can then click on those, and then if we scroll to the bottom of the page, all the way down, you'll see archive or shortlist. So we would click here to add them to the shortlist, and then I'll show you where they go. The archive facility is simply to clear up all your old data. We don't allow any deletion, but if you know, right, all of them, I'm finished with all these people, I'm not recruiting, any of these people anymore, then you click all those buttons and put them into the archive. And they'll always be there for you should you wish to retrieve them later, but they won't clog up your live daily window. So let's add them to the shortlist, and what it does is it asks, are we sure at the top, and we'll just say that's okay. And now those names will be in the shortlist. Let's go back to view results. So that's us now built our shortlist, that's the first. Now normally that process, if you're looking at 200 or 300 CVs, that would take you days to sift through CVs to try and somehow guess that data from a CV. What we can do is actually tell you exact data that you can really use in a matter of a couple of minutes, as you've seen. So then we go over to Interview Pro. So we now know that we want to Interview Pro. So when you come into Interview Pro, you will see the actual report design that is active. Now there are many report designs, but if your system is been pre-configured, you may just be using the one. This one here is designed specifically for contact center when they're interviewing customer service staff. And what we're looking at here is a report that's a personality report, but it's also an interview guide. It literally takes you step by step on what to ask, who the candidate is, what to ask, what to look for in their answers, and really get to know the candidate. So you can share extracts from that report. I wouldn't recommend you just hand it to them. That doesn't really achieve anything. But you can say to them things like, I see your report says this about you. How do you feel about that? Is that something you agree with? Or give me an example of that. So it really guides the interview. It's over 20 pages long and packed full of personality content. And it will help you to really get to know a candidate extremely well in a very short space of time, so that when you finally make a recruitment decision, you're making it with good data and an intimate experience and understanding of that candidate who half an hour previously is a complete stranger. And then finally, so you would use that with every candidate you interview, whether it's a telephone interview or a face-to-face interview, you can still use that report. And then finally, once you decide to hire someone on board, and you say, great, we're going to hire you, you then want to use the Onboarding Pro report with all new staff. And essentially this is like the operating manual, the user guide, if you like, on how to get the best for your new candidates. Use this to keep your staff turnover low, give a copy to the line manager, and it's a good reminder of them of lots of little things that they can remember to do to make sure that that new person sticks with the job and thrives and performs at a very high level. You can click in here and view a sample of that at any time. So that's your quick start guide on how to use it. There are many advanced settings and features if we go into tools, etc., which we won't cover here. We've presumed that your system is set up, and really we're just looking at how do you quickly get up and running.